Howdy, friends and lovers. It's the For Your Reference podcast. You got your host, Katie.
And OT.
And OT, it's a very exciting episode to round out the year.
It sure is.
We have done over 40 TV, movie reviews. We've done some bonus content. We've had some lovely guests along the way. Thank you so much to everyone that has listened. We started in February, and this has been a lovely little pet project aside from our real pet. So we just want to say thank you so much to everyone that has listened from the start, listened a few times, or, this is your first time listening. We love and appreciate you guys so much. Also shout outs to particular levels of our Patreons. You'll be able to see the video version of this episode. So you get myself, Fake OT. You might even get Theo in the background. And, there's a lot of things, not a lot of things, but there are some things when we're recording, we're like, ooh, that was too much. We're going to cut that out. It's going to stay in the video version. And if you follow us on Twitter in particular, there were some films that we just got too angry to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to discuss those vetoed films in our video version, not in this particular episode. So if you want some juicy morsels, you definitely need to consider. You don't have to, but if you want to, that's there as well. But it is going to be a very good time. Grab yourself a snack. Grab yourself a beverage. We were going to do a shot game. This is the breast milk of OT, if you can see it on the video right now. Unfortunately, we drank all of our provisions before this episode. So we're just going to have a nice chat and a drink while we look back on our year.
Yeah.
So far. Do you remember our first episode? It was something very significant to both of us.
Black Panther, of course.
OT forever.
Yeah.
So, in a lot of our episodes, we talk about how we don't really do the traditional sort of rating out of 10. Rating shit out of 5, we don't know her. Like, 5 is too little.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't express the breadth of how you feel about a film. So we're going to be rating things out of 10. If you always wanted to know, these two are talking shit, but what do they really think? Like, give me an actual number of how you feel. This episode is for you guys. So let's start off with Black Panther. Feel free to give yourself a justification or explanation. But yeah, so how would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
A solid 8.
Oh, that's a bit high.
No.
You're gonna start off that high? Where else are we going to go, dude?
Just because of what it meant, it was just more than a movie to a lot of people, and it deserved every plaudit it got. So definitely an 8.
Yeah, I don't agree with you, but that was nice.
What about you?
I would give Black Panther a solid 7.
Really?
7 to me. So if I was to talk about the way I rate things, 6 is I don't regret watching it. 7 is I don't regret watching it and I might watch it again.
And what is 8?
But it didn't change my world in any way.
And what is 8 to you?
8, if it started playing at my funeral, I wouldn't be mad.
10? Just coming
10?
all over the movie?
And you. And anyone else that is in my proximity, you're all getting my Sploosh Mountains.
Oh, dear.
Well, how about you? What's 8? They made a film, so congratulations.
8 is something memorable that I won't forget. Something that I'll rewatch. Something that resonated with me well. A 7 is something that I was like, it's all right. Kudos to those guys for making a movie.
And this is actually quite interesting because I remember when we went to go and watch Knives Out, which is like the Voldemort in the For Your Reference household, we actually agreed that if we were watching it at home, we would have stopped it. So I think that's also an interesting, does that count as part of the rating or is that just not fair to rate it that way? So I guess it's an interesting, if you guys also rate movies and TV shows, let's have a delicious discussion because now that we have changing cinema and people are buying sound systems, OT in particular, creating these home theaters and you don't necessarily need to go to the cinema, does that make it less? You know what I mean? So I think that's quite an interesting topic to explore. Possibly not today though, because we have quite a lot to get through. So yes, I do not agree with you. I think you gave too much to Black Panther.
Oh, all right.
Now you're gonna get very disappointed in what 2-3 years time when Black Panther 2 comes out.
I'll probably give it even higher.
Actually, this is a fun little running joke for our beloved listeners. What is the name of the actor that plays Killmonger?
BC Jordan.
He said ever so confidently. You will never get it, will you?
Probably not.
At least he's sticking to this one. He used to have quite a few variations of Michael B. Jordan. But there you go. Again, if you're interested, we have a second part of our recording that we never released that is available on our Pardon the Pun tier. So if you want to hear what we actually rated it, and if it's the same, I don't even know if OT remembers what he rated it. Consider it's up to you. Live your best life, whatever you want to do. Do you remember our second episode?
Vikings.
Skull, friends and lovers.
Skull.
This is, oh, look at me. I'm such a video vixen. Wow. These are some interesting trinkets that we got. So if you can see the video, you know what we're drinking out of. But wow. What a series.
What a series indeed. And that's why I'd give it an 8.
Oh, not enough, dude.
What do you mean not enough?
See, this episode was just so I could judge OT and we could openly judge him. Really?
I think it's a really strong 8.
If you give Game of Thrones more than Vikings, I'm going to go on a rampage. Not a cutesy Reggie rampage, a full-on Archer-esque rampage.
Vikings is good. That's why I give it an 8.
Vikings is good, and that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
I would rate Vikings the way it deserves, with a 9 out of 10.
A 9.
Fight me.
Wow. That is too high.
You were too high.
I love Vikings. I introduced you to Vikings, mate. So I know a good show. I know it's a good show. And an 8 is pretty much where it falls in. And
Nah, dude. See, and I think it's very divisive in the For You Reference household. That's probably why we've never done this before.
you know, a 9 is something that you like watched back to back and you're like, oh my God, I could watch all the episodes all over again without feeling like bulging my eyes out. Vikings had a few dodgy episodes in the second season.
Yeah, it did. And that's why it's not 10. You know what? And this is interesting. So let's talk about it before we continue on with the rest of the episodes. Especially with TV shows, how are you ranking it? Because for me, it's an overall ranking. It doesn't matter if it, like Prison Break, for example, which we'll eventually cover on our show. First season, well, one chef kiss. But it didn't make up for the really shitty season. So overall, my rating for Prison Break would be lower than I would want it to be because it's overall. Or do you just give it high points because you love season 1?
No, I'll give it. It depends. It depends as a cumulative of everything up until its end. So it probably wouldn't be as high as what season 1 was, because season 1 for Prison Break was pretty much a 10.
Okay, we're not rating that.
We're not rating that. I was just saying.
He's rating everything. Who are you, Mark Zuckerberg from Social Network?
But Vikings had a few dodgy episodes, and it cannot be anything higher than an 8 for me.
And that's why you live in a sad, sad world, my love. Sad world indeed. Our third episode was A Quaint. Lovely. It was one of those films that we were just scrolling, the streaming services, and we found it, and we're like, you know what? Let's give it a go.
Yeah, Lee Whannell, right?
Lee! Invisible Man is coming out soon. I don't know much about it, but I was following his little adventures in Sydney, hoping to get casted somehow. But we love that film. We really, really love that. And listen to our episode if you've watched Upgrade. A lot of the things that we cover on our show, we do love, so we would recommend. Obviously, you'll hear the ones that I personally do not care for. I think you pretty much liked everything we covered this year, right?
Yeah.
Is it OT endorsed?
OT endorsed.
But it's
certified guarantee.
Oh, wow. That's a big claim
It is.
from a big daddy OT.
Mm-hmm.
So, really enjoyed Upgrade. It was one of those films that just like it was all encompassing and it just blew you away, and it blew you back in all the right places.
Yeah.
So let's talk about ratings.
Oh, I would give it a 7.5.
Wow. Do you care about anything?
I do.
See, I was saying I was the harsh rater, and you're like, I think wait until we get further into the series, right?
Yep.
Wow, 7.5. What's the difference between 7 and 8 and 7.5?
A 7.5 is something that's because a 7 to me is something that it's something that's rewatchable, kind of, but you really not go
But
back to it.
there are some films that are really good that you'll never watch again, but it was still good.
Yeah, those would probably be a 6 or something. So Upgrade for me is a 7.5, just because it's nearing towards being completely memorable and having some sort of rewatchability value.
My love for OT is like my indecisiveness over whether I should get a tattoo or not. Seems like a good idea, but I know I'm going to regret it. I thought this was going to be a fun little idea, but apparently it is the demise of our household.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I really enjoyed it.
You did?
Yes.
Tell me your rating.
8.
You give
Fuck
Black
off.
Panther a 7 and
I
Upgrade
did.
an 8.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Call me Lee.
Trying to
Satisfaction
cut out
guaranteed.
outside the bounds, are you?
Hey, really? Are we going that early? Step away from your breast milk.
Mate, you're just trying to be controversial, eh?
Tune in for our so original pitch of the references where we have OT's milk. I can't wait to talk about the boys. Well, this is becoming a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
If you guys are still there, thank you for tuning in. If you're finding this fun of us arguing, which is what we do all the time, but let's keep going.
Right. Afterlife.
Afterlife. Ricky Gervais recently won an award for his performance in this series. Obviously, if you want some more context, listen to all of the episodes that we're referencing. If you're
And what did I tell you? I told you when this came out and we watched it that Ricky Gervais is becoming more of a thespian. And it was such an amazing performance from him. And I loved every minute of it. It's sad. It has some light moments, but overall atmosphere of it, it's quite moody, dark, and I lived for it. I loved it. It made me feel things I didn't think I'd feel from Ricky Gervais. So kudos to him.
Yeah, and I think whether it's comedy or whether it's just writing in general, if you've got that talent, it can translate into other genres.
Yeah, which I didn't expect it for him at all.
Yeah, I know, you were a bit touch and go about.
And that's why my rating for Afterlife is a bloody 8.
Why do you pump it up so much and you only give it an 8?
8 is a high number.
Yeah, but it's like... Okay, well, I'm going to give my rating, and this is before I knew that he won for his performance. I gave Afterlife a 9.
Oh, nice.
Don't worry, I have some very low ratings throughout the rest of the year.
The only reason why I didn't give it a 9 is because I don't think I'd go back and rewatch Afterlife.
I would.
In as much as it's a
You know
good
how
show.
you sometimes purposely watch stuff just so you can cry and attribute it to whatever you're watching, but really it's like all of your years of repression?
No, I feel like it'll be too sad for me to rewatch it. And that's why I was like, yeah, I'll just give it an 8 because it's touch and
Actually,
go.
that'll be an interesting thing to talk about with Joker because I referenced Afterlife when we did the Joker episode. But yeah, let's come back to that. I really appreciated it. I liked it. And, you know, a lot of the time we talk about the classic formula of having levity when you have something really dark or, you know, that comic sort of relief, even in sort of like Shakespearean writing. As well. So Afterlife didn't have that. Like the funny moments were like the morbid shit, like or like
True.
really uncomfortable, or like when he's sitting on the bench with the old lady and they're laughing about dead people and that sort of stuff. So that's my flavoring. That's my flavor of reference if you'll pardon the pun. So I really latched onto that. And again, like if I need a good cry and there's no more dog YouTube videos that I can watch about dogs being adopted, it's definitely Afterlife.
Great. Nice.
Give accolades where accolades are due, dude.
I am. That's why it's hailing at an 8, mate.
You're allowed to have an opinion, but I'm also allowed to call you trash. Moving on, I don't know why we were so heavy. You know, recently I felt like we were doing a lot of heavy stuff, but apparently we were doing that straight out of the gate.
Oh.
And I think it was definitely the first docuseries that we did. And it might even be the only docuseries.
I think it
Oh,
is.
no. When They See Us is kind of as well. But anyway, let's go to the HBO docuseries, Leaving Neverland.
Whew. That was some heavy shit.
That was some heavy shit. Afterlife. We called it a bonus, but it's a fully fledged episode.
It is a fully fledged episode, but we released it at the same time as Afterlife, and
Just a dreary pairing to have.
yeah. If you wanted to particularly feel really sad that week, we really did get you back. So my rating for Living Neverland is 6.5.
You know what?
What?
I am rating things much higher than you.
Really?
I am learning a lot about myself today.
Tell me. Now I'm curious.
I actually rated it an 8.
Wow.
Listen to that episode. The funny thing is we were, not to say that we are like super learned. I just pulled up both of my glasses right now. But because we were so new and it was one of our first sort of episodes, I don't think we even said alleged. We're like, he fucking did this. These poor kids, he fucking did this. Like, we were really feeling all the feels. And, you know, I talked a bit about it in the episode, but like Michael Jackson was everywhere. Like you can go to remote places like in Papua New Guinea or like wherever in the world, but people still know his songs, right? So just the influence that he had, like it didn't even matter which demographic, which age, he kind of, you know, transcended all of that.
He did.
But you know, to hear those personal detailed accounts, it was a lot. It was really a lot. And, you know, I guess if that's how OT wants to rate it, that's fine. But wow, I'm very excited to see what you would rate higher than me now, because apparently I'm rating everything higher except for Black Panther.
The only thing that meant so much to me in this list so far. Just bringing it back to Afterlife. To Living Neverland.
You want to go to the Afterlife soon, or
regardless of which side of the fence you sit on the Neverland Ranch on this.
Poor taste.
What? It's
poor taste.
It's completely 100% accurate.
You're lucky I'm on this podcast. Otherwise, there would be no class at all.
Whichever side of the fence you're sitting on this, it was a well put up documentary, I think, and it did showcase a few things. Remember in the first episode, you were like, we don't really get the gravitas of this. So it didn't really pull us into the emotional trauma that they both faced until when we started hearing from Wade. And then we're like, oh, wow, fucking shit, man. You could see the emotion. You could see us getting pulled in more and more. So it was well put out, but I think it still had a few things. Missing. And that's why I give it a 6.5. So getting you to say it was...
Sorry, the pause was for my judgmental face toward OT.
Well, I think I'm justified in putting whatever rating I feel like it deserved.
It's like one of those buddy cop comedies where they don't discuss who's going to be the bad cop and who's going to be the good cop. Know your archetype. You're typecast for a reason, my dear.
Oh, yeah.
Let's skip on over. This was a great episode. Again, hallelujah, my best friend.
Oh, I think I know what it is now.
The 2017 film Get Out by our other best friend, Jordan Peele. But he won't be our best friend in another one of his episodes that we covered. So let's talk about it. You want to just go straight into your rating?
Yes. I'd give it a 9.
Oh, smooth.
Smooth.
Am I shaking his hand? Am I wanking him off? You won't know because you can't see him, but you can hear the pleasure.
Just because it was exciting.
It was thrilling, and it's one of those films where I guess it depends, like what your circles look like, in regards to whether it's something you just like. Because when people talk about great original films, Get Out is always on my list.
Oh yeah,
Always.
for sure. And I was super excited about Get Out, and I was not disappointed. We've rewatched it, so you see, this is why I give it a 9. We've rewatched it, meaning it has rewatchability value. It was a great movie. It has accolades. The storytelling was there. It resonated with us on so many levels, and I was living for it. And that's why you give it a 9. Not just giving things a 9 just because it has your beyond in it.
He can butter my bread any day. Excuse me, I gave poignant arguments as to why I'm rating stuff. I didn't know that I had to defend myself in my own household. How dare you?
I was just saying.
How dare you? Terrible.
Don't tell me.
You know what? If you can't remember what the episode titles were, I feel like your ratings are void. I feel like your ratings don't count.
Oh, what was Get Out?
It was 2 words.
Oh, give me a hint.
The second word is love. You're not gonna get it.
Love.
Yeah, the second word is love.
Sunken love.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, booyah.
Yeah, but that was like an easy one. And I know sometimes people don't care, but I really enjoy the episode titles, even to the point where there's like some pressure. Sometimes I give OT like options of what the episode titles will be, and then he'll choose one, but that's obviously not the one. You know, ladies, you know what I'm talking about.
I'd say
you
the
make
best.
you make him think it's his decision, right? Even though everything I do is 2 chef kisses. I would do 4, but I'm on a video right now, so we're not 4 chef kissing. But thank you, anyone that appreciates some good wordplay amongst all the other plays that we can do.
I'd say the best ones we've definitely done together. So,
Vomit. You've only done 2.
which were one of the best titles we've come up with?
Panning Michael's Jolly Life or some shit. I think you gave a 6.5 to your title, Navy.
Oh dear, it's such a hater,
Actually, no, this is
aren't
fun.
you?
No, this is fun. Let's continue. Maybe at the end we'll do the ones that we haven't done already. As we continue the episode, you need to tell me what the titles are.
Cool.
Yeah. So we did Get Out. And we love. I don't know if there's a world that doesn't like Get Out though.
There are people who don't like Get Out. Just go on the IMDb page.
And speaking of, shout out to Daniel and Dean from the IMDb Journey. We did a movie draft with them.
D&D?
The Double Ds,
Yeah.
if you're nasty. And we had a movie draft, and the movie draft was Blumhouse Films, and we chose Get Out. And
I
that
would completely crushed that.
it was literally by 1 vote. That's what made it so sploosh worthy. Like, I was just like flicking my bean in the office, watching the result.
So what rating would you give it?
Oh, it's very hard for me to give a 10. It's very hard for me to give a 10. So I too, sir, give a 9. Okay, the next episode that we did is actually our most listened to.
By a margin.
Both episodes.
Yeah.
And it's also the first TV show or movie that we've covered in the same year.
Oh.
And it is La Casa de Papel.
Money Heist for you basic bitches out there.
Bella ciao.
Bella ciao,
Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Na-na-na-na. I know you were doing the house remix. Oh, I'm so obsessed with them.
Yeah.
And the boom boom ciao. Oh, and I just like, yes, we love to wank ourselves off. And maybe if you pay us enough, we'll do it on video. But I'm so proud of us that we actually covered Money Heist.
Yeah, we did.
Because we were talking about it and we were trying to form our schedule. It's in our first 10 episodes. So it was our 7th episode and also our 23rd where we did part 3. And we took a risk. You know,
did.
TV shows and movie podcasts, you could get lost, right? It's like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers swimming in pussy. Like, you can get lost in TV and movie podcasts. So, you want to try and be as popular as possible.
Yeah. But this is where we were like, we're so passionate about having watched it and having loved it. And like, regardless of how, we really didn't think it would get as many listens as it did.
No, we did it for us.
And it was more like, you know what? It doesn't really matter if people would listen to it or not. It really did mean a lot to us. And it was such a good, well put out show. Or like, regardless of what people would respond to it, we'll just put it out and see how it goes.
Because I know, again, with my double glasses, trying to hold can I even call this what it is? Well, I'm holding a device and I'm holding my full glass of wine. Like, I know, again, we like to wank ourselves off, but like, I'm so happy we did that episode. And that's also essentially the reason why we started this podcast, because we love our friends, but they're fucking trash when it comes to talking TV shows.
Yep.
And when it comes to talking movies. Like, we wanted to create a space. Again, I know that sounds wankerish, but that's what we do. We wanted to create a space where people could come and have a giggle gaggle with a couple of dysfunctional people and just have a laugh and sometimes have a cry together. I can't remember who it is, but they actually told me that one of I think it was our Joker episode, made them cry.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys. We are like Boys to Men. We are here, 4 seasons of loneliness. Come and join our podcast. We will keep you company. But Money Heist really embodies how I feel about our podcast in particular.
Yeah, it encapsulates who we are as people in terms of...
Yeah, but you're talking all this shit and you're going to give it some fucking low rating.
No, let's go to that. Let's go to the rating. I would give Money Heist a bloody 9.
I would give it a fucking 10. And that means a lot. Like, OT knows I don't rate shit out of 10.
A 10?
And you know what? We can talk about it because I know I'm pretentious as all fucking hell. Like, I'm sitting here in my Christmas gear. But I don't know, like, and I don't feel like I did it because it's foreign. You know how sometimes like, oh, I watch foreign shit. I read subtitles, so I'm better than you. It's not necessarily that. The story is so ace.
It is. It really is ace.
And the emotional investment that I, deposited into this series, the emotional payoff is well worth it.
It really was. And by the time we did this, we didn't think there'll be another season. It was yet to be picked up by Netflix.
No, because that was the Spanish series, the channel, the network, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's all they envisioned, 15 episodes, and that was it. But obviously it got picked up by Netflix. But man, part 3, I am so glad, because we'll talk about Black Mirror, but like Black Mirror decline in quality. Come and fight me, people. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. But solid 10. Solid 10. Because, sometimes you won't rewatch stuff. Sometimes you won't like necessarily agree with the themes, but fucking hell, man. Like,
this just ticks all the boxes, really.
Yeah. Like, hello, El Profesor. I'm still waiting for my mission. I can be Sydney.
Oh, you sure?
You can't.
I'm just assuming that's a city in Tonga. I feel like I did that justice.
How dare you? When have I attempted a Kenyan accent on this Actually, no. I do that shit all the fucking time.
Exactly.
Okay, if you've got your little scorecard, I did post on Twitter and Instagram some screenshots of all of our episodes. So if you want to do some dodgy like ratings along the way, like a ratings bingo, you can do so. Because this next episode that we covered is going to be quite different in regards to how, at least myself in particular, I've been rating things. And that is our best friend Jordan Peele makes another appearance, and we actually cover, I think it's the first box office that we cover as well. Like a film that came out at the time, and that is Jordan Peele's Us.
Ooh, Us. We were pretty much on the same boat on how we thought about the film.
And we were scared. Like, we were scared. It was what? Our 8th episode, and all we could hear were reviews about it being an amazing masterpiece and it was better than Get Out.
About the duality. It was all about the duality. And by the time we went there, we were bloody pissed.
But at the same time, we were scared because, again, we love our handful of listeners, but we were worried that we would polarize our podcast because we actually didn't enjoy it. Like, obviously, there were secondary elements that make a film that we enjoyed about it, but we didn't necessarily, like, we expected better. Essentially. And we were like, ooh, do we not cover this? Right?
If this was Jordan Peele's first movie, would be like, yeah, but this was his second after Get Out. Expectations were so much higher.
Oh yeah, no, but not even that. Like if you just ignore Get Out, it was garbage, son.
Yeah. And that's why my rating for this would be a 5.5.
Stop rating lower than me. I'm supposed to be the queen bitch.
What's your rating for us?
6.
Oh. I thought about going to 6, but then 6
You
is
and your 0.5s.
6 is something that you'd not necessarily rewatch, but you'd at least sort of enjoy.
My 6 is I don't regret watching it.
And as a matter of fact, this was put out as a horror flick. And a lot of good horrors linger in the 6 sort of mark in IMDb. And when you see a 6 on a horror movie, you know that it's got to be really good.
Yeah.
So...
Well, not really good, but it's worth a watch.
Like it's good. A 6 for horror films is good. So I thought, in as much as I did think it was trash and it had a lot of production value and all of that nonsense, I really didn't think it would be fair to give it a 6. And that's why I bumped it down to a 5.5.
Well, I gave it a 6 because I didn't regret watching it, but I was just disappointed. But yeah, so, oh man, I thought I was going to have, the lowest rating. And who knew? OT was the queen bitch all along.
Yep. Oh, I think I remember what the next episode would be in this. Because I think I was really excited enough to ask to just do something that I loved. And I think I roped you into watching Game of Thrones, if I'm correct, right?
It is. And you've got a spreadsheet in front of you dickhead. In my mystic wine powers. Fuck off.
You're such a dick, mate.
I made the spreadsheet for you, and now you're trying to wank yourself off. Like literally, again, you can't see what he's doing. But yes, we didn't even do the episode titles. Do you remember the episode title of Game of Thrones?
Oh, give me a hint.
No, I'm not giving you a hint. You were just like, oh, it's Game of Thrones. Yeah, motherfucker, I sent you the spreadsheet.
It had something to do with Baratheon. Baratheon, you ain't shit. Nah, I can't remember. Tell me.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're, like, this is going to be like Irishman-esque duration if we wait for you to do all these titles. So it's fine. It was unhand me, you Baratheon.
No, I was close.
Oh, piss off. Okay, give us your rating.
9.
You rate Game of Thrones over Vikings.
Yes. Just because...
You're such a fucking fanboy. Jesus.
Just because the first 5 seasons, when the book was there and the book was available, it was a really good show. It made sense. It was encapsulating. You're looking for it. You're looking forward to it week by week. When it wasn't available, you were eagerly waiting for it. Something that even the episodes that was hugely brand focused, you're always considering, okay, this has to play.
You told me, nah, Brand's not in this. There was a whole fucking season of Brand.
Even in those seasons, I expected that it would play a bigger role, my mistake. But during that time, I was like, okay, they're setting this up. I'm excited. I had conspiracy theories going all over my head. And this is what Game of Thrones did to you. And that's why it really, in as much as they dropped the ball, they still deserve what they made in the first 5. And that's why I give it a 9.
So you rank it over Vikings?
Slightly over Vikings.
No, not slightly. You rank it over Vikings. You don't deserve to watch. I'm not watching Vikings with you anymore. You don't deserve it.
So tell me your rating, miss.
7. That's quite high. I was actually going to rate it 6, but I knew you would give me shit for it.
You ranked upgrade higher than Game of Thrones.
I did. OT maths.
Oh, wow. And this is what happens if you don't use abacus as children. You misunderstand the value of numbers.
Our abacus daddy, if you're nasty. OT is apparently he invested in a lot of abacuses because he thought it was going to be a growing trend. So look out for our merch coming out next year.
For sure.
Are those the beads you can count on?
Hey. The beanies you can count on. Oh, it's such a shame we're not talking about The Wire. Otherwise, I would have been nailing that reference. How do you give it a 7 though?
Card's full.
That's really mean.
All right, so I think Game of Thrones has had enough airtime.
Mm-hmm.
Some might argue too much airtime. And that is me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on. Do you know what the next episode is?
This was my bad.
Many bad.
Escape Room featuring Jay Ellis. We stand a good Lawrence in this household.
Oh, fuck off. Well, we're going to talk about Insecure soon, so let's just keep going.
Escape Room, I'd give it a 4.5. It was fucking disappointing.
I'm going to ban you from 0.5s because they literally add nothing.
Okay, I'll give it a 4.
Me too. Let's wank each other off. Flick me, sir.
It's nothing that I'll go back to rewatch, for sure.
Yeah, and it's something that I actually regret watching. And I know we covered it on our podcast, but I will deny it.
And
I will deny that I ever watched that film.
And to be fair to Katie, that was just because of my doing. And it having Jay Ellis in it.
Are you taking accountability for your own actions, sir?
Yes, I am.
Well, you should also regret Game of Thrones. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I think that's enough. The funny thing about that episode was, you never know, like Gene Wilder, you never know which sort of avenue you're going to go down in regards to the lovely chocolate and milk chocolate factory for your reference. And we ended up having a real conversation about soldiers and how we need to treat them better, no matter which country you come from. So,
yeah.
Again, sometimes you get dicks, all the dicks, swinging motherfucking dicks. And sometimes you get some real conversations about how we should treat our veterans.
Yeah, for sure.
So really, that was the takeaway for me in regards to talking about Escape Room. But that was fucking shite.
Oh, should we cover the next episode then?
Oh, let's shall. My lady love. And OT likes to point out that I have many lady loves. If anything, you should be happy that I have more lady loves than man parts. I don't know. What's the equivalent? Insecure, the HBO series by the ever effervescent Issa Rae.
Yeah. It's a good show. I think I've referenced.
It is a good show.
I think that was my last reference in a podcast we did. So it's super good. It's super fresh. And my rating for this would be a 9 because we start a good Issa Rae in this household.
Uh-oh.
What?
You rated it higher than I did. Oh, fuck. Fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me your rating. I'm curious now.
I rated it an 8.
Oh, really?
Issa Rae, I love you so much. If you're
Clearly
listening
not.
to this or if you're watching the video, I love you so much. Jesus, man.
Just because.
If you gave me Awkward Black Girl, I would rate it a 10. I don't know. And it was like, because I rated this after we did all of our episodes, including Master of None. And I realized how Master of None captured a lot more in regards to the immigrant sort of experience, not just like your young hippity hop buying cocktails for 10. Actually, no, cocktails are $20 in Australia. Come and buy us a drink, guys. In the famous wordsmith of T-Pain.
Bye, you were drying.
T-Pain, what are you doing here?
Oh, you're welcome. Man. That's surprising. I thought it's super clever, witty. It has super rewatchability value. All the characters you can pretty much resonate with in their own regard. It's quite a show that's different from what HBO have been spilling out. So for me, it just ticked a lot of boxes, and I was like, okay, this definitely is nothing but less but a 9, just because of my criteria and what I had rated the other things. So for sure, Insecure just did a lot for me, and Issa Rae is amazing. And I'm looking forward to whatever else she'd be working on apart from Insecure.
But I feel like this is the start for her.
This is a sign she can only get stronger.
But
It's
8
like
isn't
it's
a
like
bad.
this is her Get Out. This is her Get Out.
But
So
8 isn't a bad rating.
8 isn't about rating, but for someone who
but
apparently
you're
stuns
like-
Issa Rae,
Okay, all right. I know I have a trophy case of stands, and I know you want my drink over here, and that's why you're being a bit of bitch to me. But I'm not going to give it to you. But I really feel like there's so much more of Issa Rae that we can experience, and I love Insecure. I really do, but I feel like Insecure kind of falls more into like guilty pleasure as opposed to like, okay, we need to take this offline because I fucking love Issa and there's so much she can do. And she also has an audio drama series. I bet you didn't know that, motherfucker.
I didn't know, but then again, I didn't give Insecure an 8.
Oh, piss off.
All I'm saying is, each episode of Insecure is watchable. Like, you not feel like you're like, I want to forward this, I want to skip this episode. Nah, all episodes are pretty funny.
Yeah, but you also forgot the fact that you kept calling Issa trash the whole series.
Because she's trash. I'm not talking about Issa as a producer, as a writer in this. I'm talking about Issa as the character. And she is super trash.
Well, she's in good company then.
Yeah, trash knows trash, mate.
Evidently. Evidently. But, you know, definitely give a listen to that episode. If you've ever wondered what we would sound like as a relationship podcast, I think Insecure is the best example.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And the title of that was Loser Intolerant.
Yeah.
That was fucking ace. Again, we can't keep talking about the episode titles because I will literally be here all night.
Mm-hmm.
The next episode that we covered, so, and also if you guys have podcasts as well, we try to strike a balance in regards to what's popular, what we want to cover, and that sort of thing. So, we had done Escape Room, which evidently no one watched. I think the amount in the box office was the people that were in the movie. We had done Insecure, we'd done Game of Thrones. So, we wanted to do something that almost everyone has watched and is considered a cult, popular classic. And what film was that?
Office Space.
Are you Milton? What the fuck was his name? Spoiler. The one that burnt the building down.
Milton.
I think his name was Milton.
Yeah. So the exciting thing about the Office Space episode is that we didn't really talk much about Office Space as a movie, and I think that's one of the past episodes we really struggled talking about it because we didn't
really
like
it. We get it.
Not
but
that we didn't like it. It was a watchable movie. It's just that there wasn't enough to dissect. And we found ourselves talking about more of our life experiences in regard to the office life and stuff
That's
like
funny
that.
because I don't even remember what we said in that episode.
Yeah.
I just knew we didn't talk about the movie.
But it was still an exciting listen.
I think a lot of what we said in that episode had more to do with the cultural influence that Office Space had.
Yes.
Did you get the memo yet?
And that's why my rating for Office Space would be 6.
I gave it a 7.
Wow! You prefaced this episode as
Do I
me
get my
being...
wings? Do I get my wings in this episode because I'm so fucking kind?
You prefaced this episode as you being the bitch and me being the happy-go-lucky guy who would give everything a 10. But clearly that's not the case.
Clearly not. We are learning a lot about ourselves, guys.
We really are.
I feel like I changed angles because of the battery changing, but you'll just have to deal with it. Whatever you can see, and whatever you can't see, I guess that's for the imagination. Just like our Office Space episode where we barely fucking talked about it.
So tell me your rating for Office Space.
7, I told you.
Oh, must have missed that.
Just like the episode. Like, I appreciate, because there were so many references that I saw come through that movie before I even watched the movie. So I appreciated that. You know, not to say that I'm a writer or anything, but I do appreciate the structure.
Yeah.
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 Oh, good on you. You want to fight, bruv?
I appreciate the structure too, mate.
You don't know me, fam.
It's all right, blood.
So again, in trying to balance the formula, we chose a foreign film.
Oh.
Yes. Do you remember what film? Again, we know he has a spreadsheet, but let's just like jerk him off for 1 second.
Is this the award-winning South Korean movie Burning?
It is.
Yeah.
That was some like evil villain sort of giggling right there.
I don't know how to giggle any other way.
Well, I see how you gaggle. And it is most welcome in the For Your Reference household. Hopefully you're enjoying this Christmas cheer.
Yeah, but Burning was super exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah, but new, but like, you know, we talk a lot about how, especially in that particular episode, how I'm like obsessed with like Korean, like even the really cheesy like Korean dramas. 사랑해. I guess you can call me a Korea boo. Do what you want. I only love BTS. That's pretty much it. But in regards to Burning, it was a slow burn. And that is the most wankery way I can say it.
Oh, wow. I really enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the movie. I really did.
Do you remember what you said in the episode?
What did I say?
Well, there you go. The court rests, Your Honor.
I loved the movie. I loved the
visuals,
exposition it
the
took.
visuals were... mwah.
Yeah, it really was. Well, we cannot all agree on how a movie should end. And how they did it, when you come to think of it retrospectively, you kind of like appreciate it even more. And that's why my rating for Burning is a solid 8.
Really?
Yeah, I loved Burning. Burning was a good movie.
I rated it a 7, bro.
Bruh.
I rated it a 7.
So tell me
It
why.
was like I enjoyed the visuals, but for me, like visuals don't do much for me. Like what really gets me off is a cohesive narrative, characters that you can emotionally invest in, and really, you know, see me through until fruition, until climax. Right? That's what really gets me off in every sense of the word. So visuals alone aren't enough for me.
Yeah.
And we'll hear that when we talk about our vetoed Knives Out. Right? So yeah, 7 is enough, man. 7 is way enough.
You reckon?
Yeah, dude.
You know what? Burning was an exciting episode. I think that was one of the not fast, because there's Old Boy and all that. I think where we saw the female form, they were like, oh, wow, do Koreans do this? It was like...
Oh, no. That was something else. Was it called Hunger or Thirst? No, it was called Thirst.
No, Thirst was completely different level. But I think
I
we
don't
watched
think
Burning before
I don't
that.
think OT realized that Korean people get naked and shit. So when we watched Thirst, he was clutching his non-existent pearls, unless it's a Friday night. And he was like, oh my. You got me saying, my.
Oh, my.
You sure look good tonight.
But yeah, Burning was super exciting. And I was hungry. How about you? Hey!
I think OT is trying to do an in-trend dance. It kind of looks
Triangle
like...
killing it.
It looks like an ancestral dance. That's what the fuck it looks like. And whenever OT reveals himself in every sense of the word, you will see that dance. But until then, apparently I'm the only one that can see that. Yeah, but you know what? It's not my fave. It's not my fave Korean film.
It's neither.
Parasite, hello. We're actually like, there are some films that we have watched this year that we're choosing not to cover until everyone has a chance to watch it. And Parasite is one of them.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
available yet. Yeah.
I'm not going to attempt 4 chef kisses because I'm wearing a dress. Whatever else I have on, you don't even know.
You can
but-
Britney them if you want. No one
Damn,
would
dog.
appreciate it.
Damn, dog. 2 chef kisses. Mwah. Parasite and also Midsummer. Those are both films that we really, really loved that we're waiting to get onto a streaming service so we can actually talk about it.
Yeah, because we feel like it's such a good, at least from a conversational point of view, topic to cover.
Are you saying we have integrity?
We have integrity.
But I'm a
Integrity
little
Farms.
I'm a little bit country.
But there are exciting movies that we really want to cover until we can't, because we feel like we'll be doing injustice if not a lot of people could relate and understand and know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but there you go. That's our burning episode. The next week, we didn't release a full episode, but we actually had a bonus episode. Hello, Christian from the Nerds with Friends podcast. Thank you so much.
Christian! This must be Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and according to this, he was our first guest.
Oh, wow. Really?
I feel like OT is the nerd and I'm the friend in this scenario.
Yeah.
But he actually gave a rating. So all of our guests, again, thank you so much for coming onto our podcast. I was able to chase up with most of you guys in regards to what the rating would be.
Mm-hmm.
So we already talked about Game of Thrones, but I wanted to do it in the sequence.
Yeah.
What do you think Christian rated Game of Thrones?
I think Christian gave Game of Thrones an 8.
Interesting. Before you opened your mouth, I was about to preface that when we recorded with Christian, it was around the time of the Game of Thrones petition. No, you can't change your answer. You already gave your answer.
Well, it wouldn't change my rating anyway of what I thought he gave it.
Okay, so these are the comments he gave, and I did an average on that.
Are you gonna try and mimic his voice, or just read it out using yours?
I would never do that to you, Christian. Your name alone is so pure.
All right.
Hail Satan! We just watched that. Maybe we'll make it like a Patreon tier exclusive episode because we've got some shit to say about Hail Satan.
All right. Yeah.
Going back to something not so exciting, we're talking about Game of Thrones. So Christian from the Nerds with Friends podcast, you said he rated it an 8.
Yeah. Maybe I should have thought of that number after I've listened to how he thought about the movie.
Okay, well, we can do that next time. But in regards to Christian, he actually gave numbers, so that wouldn't have helped. Here's what he said.
Okay.
I asked him the first time, and then he started venting about the creators of the show.
Uh-huh.
So the second time I asked him, this is what he said. First 5 seasons, he rates it a 9.
Told you the same thing a few minutes ago.
Hang on. Okay. The first 5 seasons, he rates it a 9. The rest, fucking 3.5.
What does that average do?
5.
That's brutal.
So, Christian,
that's brutal.
You're probably not watching the actual video, but I'm looking at you right now. That is on you. You should have done the maths. Because you carelessly put it in KT's hands, and you never do that unless you're looking for a good time.
That is brutal. Game of Thrones is not a 5 show.
Okay, let's talk about brutal. The next episode actually encapsulates a trilogy so far. We are talking about dog foo, gun foo, car foo.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Wilkinson, otherwise known as
John Wick.
And this was fun, man. Like sometimes we do, films that have been around for a while. Sometimes we do TV shows that have been around for a while. But this was another box office film that we watched. We watched 1 and 2 the night before. We went and watched Parabellum in the cinema. And fucking hell, we came home and, 2 bottles of wine later, we recorded.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And John Wick was so exciting. It was so different. It didn't take itself too seriously. And that's why we loved it. And that's why my rating for John fucking Wick.
Well, there's 3 films.
We can just give an average umbrella rating.
No, we are rating all 3 films.
Okay. John Wick 1, I'd give it a 7.
Oh, hang on. Okay, spoiler. This is the film where the dog dies.
Yeah.
And you give it a 7.
Yeah.
Fuck you and the click you claim.
Are
you serious?
What would you give it?
9.
Okay.
It's the best film out of the series.
Okay. John Wick 2.
Am I rating first?
Yeah.
John Wick Chapter 2 was not as good as 1.
Mm-hmm.
It was something to satiate you until they build upon the story.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, I rated a 7.
Oh, I'd give it a 6.
Do you care?
A car. Like John
Do
Wick 2.
you concur?
John Wick 2 didn't do anything for me. And I was really skeptical about the third coming out. And that's why when Parabellum came out, I was super excited about it when I actually finished watching it because it blew my mind. I didn't think they'd be able to take it there in terms of the intensity, in terms of the storyline, in terms of what needed to be done. And that's why John Wick Parabellum gets a fucking 9 in my book.
What did I rate it? I rated it an 8.
So, meaning that the average for John Wick as a series for you is a 7.
Yeah.
And my average is a 7 as well.
What are you trying to prove?
I'm just saying, like we landed the same place regardless of what we thought about the specific individual pieces.
You're like the lesser brand of Law and Order. Like, what were you trying to prove there, sir?
I'm just saying. Abacus, mate. Quick maths.
Is that your, like, smoke bomb?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, but yeah. And then also recently, John Wick 4 and also Matrix 4, whether we need a Matrix 4 is a story for another day and will be one of our monthly roundups for January, OT, is coming out on the same day.
Yeah.
So we will definitely be covering, we'll be covering John Wick.
Yeah.
I reckon. I don't know about Matrix. I guess we'll see.
We will cover Matrix hopefully before then,
Yeah,
so
but
that we could
Christmas
fully delve into the fourth.
Christmas and New Year's is a very expensive time, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, but it comes out in a few years' time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can make movies quicker than that, surely. Let's continue on, my loves. Ooh, what?
Wow. I say what in the butt? Is that you're going with it?
When have we ever covered that?
I don't know. Oh, I guess this is the palm reference, and I'd go with Archer.
Again, you have the spreadsheet in front of you,
I'm
and
not
you
looking
still
at
got
it.
it wrong.
I'm not looking at it.
You still got it wrong.
It's all outside the dome.
I love how we're going to listen back to this and be like, what the fuck is this shit? So Archer, an iconic series.
Mm-hmm. Super iconic. It lost its way in the later seasons, but still, you have to give it super props for what it did in the first, I'd dare to say, 5 seasons.
Oh, I thought you were going to give it a 5.
And my rating for Archer would be an 8.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Brilliant.
If it didn't decline, it would have been a 9.
Me too.
I can't remember which season it was, but they had a 2-minute long voicemail.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, on that alone.
People
you
love
get an
that
8.
shit, but I was like, mate,
Who?
this is just wankery.
Who?
Go and read the IMDb user ratings on the different individual episodes, and people love that shit. I'm like, nah.
Can I just say we need to cover Prisoners next year? Because we have a very fun story about IMDb forums, but we're not going to share that today. And it came out of Prisoners in particular. A very great film, by the way.
Oh, good film. Hugh Jackman.
We'll probably actually OT, because I know this episode is becoming a delicious mega event right now. Do you think we should share our ratings? I think people should just listen. That's how they get our ratings.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening. This is where you were listening to the ratings. Let's continue. After Archer, I don't think people that have watched Archer don't like it. If you've watched Archer and you don't like it, please email us so OT can see it. I feel like I won't be able to handle that if you tweet us, because I will fight you. But the next series that we covered was, oh my God, it really transformed our podcast.
It did.
It really fucking transformed our podcast. So we managed to watch Game of Thrones in like 3 weeks, which was 70 plus episodes. And then, you know, we were talking about, okay, so what are we going to do? What are we going to cover? And Deadwood came to mind.
Oh.
Fucking Daddywood, bitches.
Daddywood.
You know, I don't know about a lot of you guys because, again, I know a lot of you guys are listeners, are also podcasters. I don't know about you guys, whether you like script stuff, like whether you write it down or not, but we actually had a delicious moment inside of Deadwood where I coined the frame Daddywood.
Mm-hmm.
And all of my unresolved daddy issues culminated into a climax in Deadwood.
Yeah, and OT benefited from that. But
He continues to benefit. Almost 10 years, bitches.
but it was a good show. I recommended this to you.
Oh, and I'm so welcome.
Yeah. It's one of those shows when you heard that it had to come back. It was coming back. I was like, Katie, you have to watch this because I will not miss watching the movie because of you.
How dare you? Yeah, the Deadwood movie was coming out, so it was
Yeah.
very timely.
Yeah. So
Look at us being so exclusive.
I pinned her down and made her watch this. That didn't sound right. I made her watch this and she loved it. And the fact that she found...
I loved every part of that process, by the way.
And the fact that you loved Ian McShane in this, even though
I
I didn't think it
fucking
was
loved.
that great the first time I watched this, kind of shows you everything that you need to know, especially in the rewatchability value of a show. And that's why my Deadwood rating is a bloody 9.
You know, we joked about daddy issues and shit. I want Ian McShane as my sugar daddy, or I will take him as my legitimate father. I will take both. I said father.
I know. Father. Is that one of those try and make a promise and then you mispronounce something and then it doesn't count? You know, like you know when you rub a lamp and the genie comes out and you're like, oh, I want $1 million.
Did you say rubber lamp or rubber lap?
Rub a lamp.
Oh, okay. Because rubbing laps is a
And
whole
then the
different
genie
story.
would give you $1 million hairs instead of $1.
That's a 30 Rock reference, can I just say?
Ah, they stole that from me then. OT reference.
You need to cut that out. Ooh. But again, you know, the Venn diagram of fucking salaciousness and KT daddy issues just culminated in Daddywood. In every fucking sense of the word. You know, sometimes...
You know that the Venn diagram is a full fucking perfect circle, mate.
there's like no... Like, it's all overlapping.
Yeah.
Right?
Bloody
It's
circle.
like genuinely, I was a dormant volcano and I erupted for 70 plus episodes of Deadwood. Wow.
Yeah.
Where Westwood failed, Deadwood thrived.
Oh, I wouldn't even think comparing the two shows.
No, but you know, Deadwood has its cowboy sort of theme.
So what your rating? What would be your rating for this?
Of Deadwood? Have you gone yet?
Yeah, I give it a 9.
I give it a 9 too.
Oh, brilliant.
I would give it a 10, but it had some really slow seasons. And Robin Wiggett, I love you so much. Calamity Jane, but fucking hell, you were annoying.
Oh.
She was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But the pleasure that Deadwood gave us, that we continue to give you, is free gratis, my loves.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that Robin Wiggett was in Chicago PD, which was nice to see her in.
I think that's one of the shows you watch when I'm not around, right?
Yeah. Has like 1 million episodes now or some shit.
That's a weird flex, but okay. Are the kids still saying that? Tweet me, kids of age. Well, hot diggity dog, wouldn't you know it? Apparently, we love rating things, and we did it for 2.5 hours. So, you know, just to give you some room in your stretchy pants, this is the first half of our recording, and the second half will come out very soon.
Thank you for listening.
Check us out if you want to see what we're up to, if you want to fight with us in real time on Twitter and Instagram. We are For Your F Pod.
Write us an email at hello@4podcast.com.
And hold your loved ones dear, and we'll see you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye.